Hello, Linda.
Hello, Alan. I'm ringing up. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ringing up. There was a lady on earlier on that's having trouble with a car that she bought from the paper. We had the same problem ourselves, but if she's got the receipt for the car and she gets a solicitor deal with it, she should be all right. We did. We managed to keep the car as well, and it was left for him to deal with. So that's all I was ringing to say.
Well, I don't know that you need a solicitor for that. If she writes back and they're aware that she then isn't going to release the car easily, she'll be all right anyway, probably.
Yeah, well,
but a solicitor could help as well.
Like I said, we had the same problem, you know. Like we said he wasn't getting the car back, and we got a solicitor into it, and he dealt with it after that, and we ended up keeping the car, you know.
Yeah.
And
perfectly possible.
He was charged then, you know, well, he was, you know, so that's all I was saying. If the woman,
that's all right.
If the woman's worried, you know, it is a worrying thing, actually.
Sure it is. You paid $2,500 for something and it might disappear tomorrow.
Where you're coming and going, you know.
All right, love. Well, thank you for that, and I'm glad you managed to keep yours. How do, David?
Earlier on, you said you had to take a morph test to be a radio amateur. Well, you're wrong, because you don't.
It shut him up. That's all I'm caring about.
Oh. Well, I was telling you in case you didn't know. You do actually have to take a morph test, but that's only if you want to use the HF frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
You can't actually be a radio amateur and use VHF without taking a morph test, so there you go.
Well, there you go.
Right, yeah. See ya.
That is... I'll do, David.
Hello?
Yeah.
Am I on the air?
Yeah.
It's Peter.
Oh, I see. Hello again.
Yeah, it's about a compulsory purchase order. Do you know anything about them?
Yeah, they're rotten.
Yeah. Well, recently there was 2 compulsory purchase orders. I won't say where they were. And the house was worth 16,000, and he got 10,000. And a house that he had in multi-occupation, he got £100 for. Is there no counsellors in this area that are interested in people who are being ripped off?
Well, the answer is yes, of course there are counsellors that are interested in people being ripped off, but if the law's against them, there's nothing the counsellors can do. How do, Julie?
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm phoning you for a bit of advice. Today I got some fella out to do put bars on my windows. I live in a flat, and he done them and all that, and on the front door. But when I come, and he went, I was downstairs and went, because it's like downstairs, the bedrooms and that. And when I went, I come up, and he'd gone, and he's put mortise locks on as well. But what he's done, he's gone, and he's locked me in and hasn't left the keys, so I can't get out.
I suggest you ring him.
Well, I've tried all day, but I couldn't get no answer.
Well, I hope you get some answer within the next week, otherwise you're going to be very thin. And then you'll be able to go out through the bars.
I can't get through to him. What am I going to do?
Probably die, Julie.
In my block of flats, there's only me there. All the others are empty.
Well, that's it then. Well, you either get through to him or you die.
Well, what happens if I don't get through to him?
You die. You starve to death.
But you can't just say I'm going to die.
I just did. It'll encourage you to keep trying.
But I've tried all day.
Well, when you get very, very thin, you'll be able to go through the bars.
Oh, that's a bit silly, isn't it?
No, it's not me that forgot to leave you the key.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Keep trying, kid. Otherwise, give us your address, we'll sort out a wreath, won't we, Alice? I'll do, David.
Hello, Alan.
Yeah.
Yes, it's about the social on strike. You see, well, I am due to be, paid on Thursday. And, I find out, though, why I can't be, paid on the, Wednesday.
You can't be paid on the Wednesday because the person that's not there to pay you on the Wednesday, on the Thursday, isn't there to pay you on the Wednesday either. How do, Tina?
How do? I'd like to put the other case of Channel 9, if I may.
What other case?
how they sometimes do some good.
Well, no one said they don't sometimes do some good.
No, I know you didn't, but I would like...
There isn't another case then.
I'd like some of the public to know how it can be of help.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not about to let you promote Channel 9 because I think Channel 9 has too many risks in it for it to be promoted on this programme.
Well, you did it down, so why not let me...
I didn't do it down. I didn't do it down at all. I said it has inherent risks, and it does. I do not believe that any individual should ever rely on Channel 9 as an emergency service.
No, I agree that they shouldn't rely on it, but...
Well, that's the end of the story.
If there's no other emergency service available...
I'm sorry, I don't believe anybody should rely upon it. End of story.
Well,
you should rely on 999. You should rely on the police.
Yeah.
You should rely on the ambulance service.
But we
you should
can
rely on the
relay
fire.
to the 999.
I'm not interested. I am not prepared to allow you to promote Channel 9 as an emergency service. As far as I'm concerned, CB radio is a toy. Promote it as a toy. Convince me how entertaining it is, and that would take a miracle because I get bored silly listening to the garbage they talk, but never mind. It's a toy and you're entitled to it, but don't ask me to treat it with any credibility or give it any credibility at all. It's a toy. It has been successful many times, but it's still a toy.
Yeah, it has been successful, I agree. And I also think that police, fire brigade, ambulance, Coast Guard all give us some credit.
Well, that's up to them. You're asking me to, and I'm not about to. As far as I'm concerned, it's a toy. Full stop.
Well,
There is no well, Tina, that's my view. And seeing as I've got the control of the programme, I decide if anything gets promoted on it. And I am not allowing this programme to be used to promote toys as providing a serious benefit.
I agree, it is
Good,
very
I'm glad to
useful
hear it.
as a toy, but it can be useful for other things as well.
I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
Well...
We live in an unfair world. You are currently a victim of the unfairness of this programme.
Yeah, you are being unfair.
I know I am, but I'm sorry.
Or could I
It's a
just put
toy.
one case to you?
No.
Well, you're just not giving freedom of speech at all, are you?
Why the hell should I?
Oh, you're allowed to promote your views. Why not you say ring in with your views?
Apply for the job. If you get it, you'll be able to make the rules. Right now,
I don't want
I'm
your
making
job.
them.
Have a job of my own.
Right now, I make the rules. I will not allow CB radio to be promoted on this programme as being a serious service to society. It has been beneficial in the past, it will be beneficial in the future, but because of the inherent dangers, I will not contribute to people being given the impression that it can be of help.
What, not even as a last resort?
Not ever.
Oh.
It's a toy.
So getting an ambulance to somebody
It is a
who is in
toy.
need
It's
of it.
like giving a starving man a rubber chicken. It's a toy.
It
Nothing
can be
else.
used as a toy, but as a
It's
last resort, it can also be
Listen,
used to
if the guy is lying there in agony, the last thing he wants is some lunatic to come round and put a brick through his head. It has happened. I am not prepared to allow it to be promoted as a reliable emergency service. It is not.
Well,
I'm not interested in well. That's my view.
Yeah, I appreciate the bloke, on the side of the motorway,
He wasn't the only one. There was actually a case last year, and I can't remember the details of it, but there was a case last year. But I'm not interested. CB has a number of people using it, and a large number of people using it, who, quite honestly, I wouldn't trust with Hitler's life.
I agree.
Right.
And
Now, they are there, and I am not prepared to allow CB to be promoted on this programme as having any serious function. It has provided benefit, it will continue to provide benefit, but I will not allow the attitude to even be hinted at that anyone should ever use it for something serious. It's a toy. If you don't like that, I suggest you lump it.
No, what I wanted you to say is that, yes, it can promote some useful benefit as well.
I'm not interested. It's a toy.
A very useful toy.
I'm sure it's a very useful toy. Rather like football boots. Very, very useful. Redundant on me because I don't play football. CB is a toy.
Yeah.
Okay?
I agree it is a toy, but as I say...
I'm not interested in, as I say, it's a toy.
I'm
Full
only-
stop.
I'm-
I'm not interested, Tina. You're not going to do it. I've made that decision. I'm sticking to it. I made it about 3 years ago. I ain't changed it before. I'm not changing it now.
Yeah, well, as I say...
There's no well, good night. How do Peggy?
Hello, Alan. I was watching Esther Anson's programme on Sunday night.
Have you done something very, very wrong?
No.
Were you being made to watch it?
No, but...
Good Lord.
I'd been abroad quite a lot and come through customs, but after what I heard on Sunday night, it's really put me off going abroad again. There were 3 different lots of people on. One was a young 17-year-old girl, and she was body searched, and searched, different ways. And there was a young couple with a baby, and the customs officials threatened to do the same with the baby unless they allowed them to search them internal. And the mother was taken in another room, and she was told that if she didn't subject herself to this treatment, they would take the baby away, and they would have to get a magistrate's order to search her internally. So I suppose for drugs and things like that. So she let them do it, and the husband allowed them to do the same, and afterwards he had to see a doctor. He was bleeding from his back passage. Now, do you think that should be allowed, Alan? And do you think people should be threatened like that coming through the customs?
Yes.
Why?
Because if they don't, drugs will continue to get into this country.
Yeah, I know.
They've got to be stopped.
But, how could they find them on a baby?
Oh, very easily. People who transport drugs and smuggle drugs aren't bothered who they hurt.
Well, I think it's absolutely terrible.
Of course it's terrible.
There was no doctor there. There was no one there. But Esther Anson did say that you could refuse and they would have to get a magistrate's order.
That's right, you can
and
refuse.
They would have to have a very good reason.
Well, the good reason is that they suspect you for carrying drugs. You asked whether it should be allowed. The answer is yes. Whether they should be allowed to do it without going to the trouble of getting a court order, the answer is no.
No,
but they should be allowed.
And besides that, the gentleman also said that there were other men present while he was being internally examined, and they were coming out with all sorts of rude remarks.
And all of those things I disapprove of, but the principle of a thorough search, I'm very much in favour of.
Yeah, I understand that, Alan, I do
But
really. But I felt sick afterwards. The 17-year-old girl was subject to the same thing, and that was because she'd gone on a school trip. The teacher tried to stop them from doing it. And what she'd done, they were having a collage, in the school, and they were collecting different items, covers from different things, packets and things like that. And she'd collected a beer mat. And the pub she'd got it from was a pub well known for drugs. And so they'd done the same to her.
Peggy, we have got to stop drugs getting into this country.
Oh,
we
definitely.
won't do it by saying to somebody, we'll not search you because you're only 17. Because if we do, every person smuggling drugs will be 17 suddenly.
Yeah, I understand that, Alan.
Good.
But it really sickened me.
Well, I'm sure it sickened them. It sickens me, but it sickens me that people are dying in our streets every day.
Yeah, from drugs.
Quite.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
Thanks for your call.
Bye.
Please listen to my ditty. It may not be very witty, nor even slightly funny, but it will help save you money. For me, from cradle to grave, I aim to shop and save. I buy out I need, for next to nought indeed. There's meat and veg and cheese and bix and booze and cigs and clothes and cards and sweets and pigs and pet food and household things. So shop and save a load down Blackpool's Waterloo Road, in the market they call New, and Overt Road, the M2. Thank you. Poetry in prices, from the Newmarket and M2 Market.
It's the place to come, where shopping can be fun. The Newmarket Waterloo Road.
Wednesdays are never lonely days around Carnforth. It's Singles Night at Granger's every Wednesday, 8 till 12:30. Admission is just £1 at Granger's Nightclub, Wharton Grange, Carnforth.
Smith's Bookshop of Main Street, Wigan are offering at least £10 off selected Parker & Schaefer pens and £10 off Helix Home Files, now down to just £14.95. And for a limited period only, £1 off all compact discs, plus revision aids, maps, Easter cards, and remember, Smith's have the Rugby League week every week during the Aussie season. There's only one bookshop in Wigan, Smith's, your local bookshop.
Times Craft Centre for Art. Paints, pastels, pads and easels. Times Craft Centre for gift ideas. Tapestry, needlework, soft toy kits and rubber moulds for chess pieces, ornaments and garden gnomes. In fact, Times Craft Centre in Wigan has everything for everyone. Silk printing, glass engraving, candle making, clay modelling and Galt toys. To see our full range, visit the Times Craft Centre, Main Street, Wigan. Keep up with the times. Visit Times Craft Centre today. Ring Wigan 45566.
Capital Ceilings have got to be your #1 choice in Wigan for quality suspended ceilings. Prices start at just £26 and Capital Ceilings are suitable for the home, office or factory. Contact Capital Ceilings today and find out more. Or call into their showrooms in Caroline Street, Wigan, next to B&Q. Ring Wigan 496 428. Wigan 496 428. Capital Ceilings, your #1 choice in Wigan.
Are you worried about drinking and driving when you should be enjoying yourselves? Well, relax at Roberto's restaurant and enjoy good food and wine, a pleasant atmosphere, and providing you spend £10 per person, including your wine, we'll take you to and from Roberto's by taxi free of charge, so you can enjoy yourselves. Please make your taxi booking when you reserve your table. Ring Wigan 42385. That's Wigan 42385. Or call in at Roberto's Restaurant, Rowbottom Square, Wigan.
Howdy, Roy.
How do, Alan? A bit of advice off you, please, if you could. I was wondering if you could tell me where I would stand, with regards to the law, if you were to point a replica pistol at somebody.
It rather depends on the circumstances. You could end up getting shot by the police.
No.
They did at the bank in India. Or the Indian bank, sorry. Sorry?
I'm a taxi driver, see?
Yes.
And, obviously, you get a lot of lunatics in taxis that want to run away without paying, and the odd few...
If you use a replica gun and point it at somebody, you are, if you do it not in a game, but as an attempt to convince them that it's a real gun, you are actually committing an assault.
No, I mean, you can imagine when someone...
Well, you asked a question, I've just given you an answer.
Yeah.
I have the scenario. If you point a replica gun at somebody and say, do this, or else.
Oh, don't do this.
Or don't do this, or else.
Try and run away with my take.
Well, whatever. You are actually committing an assault.
Do you think it's sort of way in my favour if the fella was to come?
Well, let us put it this way: if somebody pointed a replica gun at you, and you stabbed them through the heart and they died, you could say, "I thought he was going to kill me."
What you mean?
If somebody points a gun at you, you've got the right to believe they're going to kill you.
I suppose so, yeah.
So you've a fair chance of getting an iron bar through your head.
Yeah, but I think I'd be prepared to take that chance.
Fine, if that's how.
Have someone belt me over the head with whatever they've got in their hand.
Fine, but remember that you're giving them a defence for your assault. So if they want to kick the crap out of you, then they can go ahead and kick the crap out of you and say, well, he was going to shoot me, Your Honour.
They're not likely to do that if they see a gun, whether it's...
Rather depends on whether they believe.
I think if somebody pointed a gun at me, and I thought it might be a replica, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt and pretend it was real.
Fine, that's up to you. Then they'll merely call the cops and you'll get banged in the slammer.
Do you think they would?
Well, if they've any sense, they would. I definitely would. I definitely would.
If I was to say to the cop, hey, he's trying to run off with the night's takings.
And you'd be fined for using a replica gun. And I would want you to be.
Would you?
Yes.
So in other words...
Not in other words anything.
What do you recommend a taxi driver should do then if somebody comes up and says, like, come on, give us a laugh, or I'm going to belt you with this bottle?
Well, I'd say here they are. I've never found any amount of money worth risking assault for. If anyone wants my money, they've only got to threaten me, they can have it.
But in my game, you meet lunatics like that every night.
I meet them quite frequently too, but I still wouldn't put my physical health at risk just for money.
How do you deal with them then?
I don't. I laugh usually. When people come up to me and say, I'm going to kick the crap out of you, Beswick, I say, fine, get on with it.
You don't meet that every night though, do you? Or do you? So you must be very skint then.
I don't carry any money.
I've got to.
Tough. But don't carry a replica gun. How do Graham? No, Graham. How do to another Graham? Hold it. Hello.
Alan,
Yes.
can you give me your views?
No, I can give you an instruction to turn your radio off. Turn your
Country
radio
sports,
off.
please.
Turn your radio off.
I do apologise, Alan.
Don't apologise. Turn your
Views
radio
on
off.
country sports now, please.
What are country sports?
Well, fox hunting, badger baiting, say, and hare coursing.
What is your radio still on?
I do apologise.
Don't apologise. How do Karen?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I had an accident. Well, I was in a side street and a woman came as I was parking up at the side of the road. A woman flew a car round. She was on the opposite side of the road. She flew a car round and hit the back of my car. She got out of the car and tried to blame it on me. So she asked for my insurance and my name and address and telephone number, which I gave to her. I asked her for her name and address and telephone number. She gave me that. But when I asked her for her insurance, she wouldn't give it me. So how do I go about it now?
I should write to her at her home address, the address she gave to you. Listen to the answer. It'll save us beating about the bush for the next 2 hours. Write to her at her address and tell her that you want compensation for the damage to your car.
Tracy's Discount Store, with lots of bargains and so much more.
Lots of people are talking about Tracy's and their low prices, so if you've not been already, what have you been doing? For a start off, the first floor is simply bursting with gifts and items for the home. Hardware, pottery, fancy goods, in fact you name it, and Tracy's are sure to have it. Tracy's Discount Store, Ormskirk Road, Pemberton, Wigan, and Euston Road, Morecambe. You'll find it hard to beat Tracy's.
Tracy's Discount Store.
I've just bought a carpet for less than it cost.
How can you buy carpets for less than they cost?
Find out by going to the sale at the Carpet Supermarket on Fletcher Road off Ribbleton Lane, Preston, and the Hartley Trading Estate, Long Lane, Aintree.
Open 7 days a week.
Is your home suffering from rising damp, wet rot, dry rot, or woodworm? Retention problems are over with Filed Damp Course Limited. They'll survey your property and provide a competitive quotation within 24 hours. Filed Damp Course guarantee their work for 30 years. Call Blackpool 31313. That's Blackpool 31313.
Away, away, on an Avalon holiday.
Avalon Travel announced 10 breathtaking days in the Austrian Tyrol for just £199. Departing by luxury coach on the 27th of June or the 15th of August. You'll stay at the Gasthof Zillertal in Strasse and enjoy excursions to Innsbruck, Meyerhofen and many more destinations, all in the price. Don't miss this superb opportunity to holiday for 10 days in the Austrian Tyrol for just £199. Ring Avalon Travel on Bolton 398 788 for details of fantastic children's reductions and to claim your free £10 holiday voucher if you book before the end of April.
398-788 to book your holiday.
A far, far better furniture store.
Edmondson's of Blackburn, a far, far better furniture store. For lounge, dining room and bedroom furniture. For famous names and quality carpets. For all home furnishings. Edmondson's offers choice. Edmondson's gives first-class service. And Edmondson's guarantees value for money. All round a far, far better furniture store at Darwin Street, Blackburn.
A far, far better furniture store. Edmondson's.
Please listen to my ditty. It may not be very witty, nor even slightly funny, but it will help save you money. For me, from cradle to grave, I aim to shop and save. I buy out I need, for next to nought indeed. There's meat and veg and cheese and bix and booze and cigs and clothes and cards and sweets and pigs and pet food and household things. So shop and save a load down Blackpool's Waterloo Road. In the market they call New, and Overt Road the M2. Thank you. Poetry in prices. From the New Market and M2 Market.
It's the place to come, where shopping can be fun. The Newmarket Waterloo Road.
How do Nabila? Good night. How do David? Hello, David? How do David? How do line 8? Don.
Don from Wigan.
Well, we don't care where you're from, Don. I'm afraid we don't allow people to tell us what town they're from on this programme. Sorry. How do Jack?
Hello, Alan.
I think I'd like to discuss a matter that is of great importance to me for a number of years, and there's been nothing done about it by anybody, really.
Well, should we stop beating about the bush and get to the point?
Right. Basically, it's about Martina Navratilova, who, as you
We know who she is. Get on with it.
Well, I don't think that she should be allowed to play in the women's tennis.
Why not?
Well, because she doesn't want to be a woman, does she? She wants
Well,
to be a man.
what she wants is irrelevant. She is a woman. She may well want to be a woman. She may well not like men, and when men are represented by jerks like you, who can blame her? Good night, cretin. Hello, Shaun.
Hello? Yeah, the girl that rang in regarding the bars. She was locked in her house.
Yes?
I'm a police constable in North Wales. Can you ask her to ring a local police station and they'll get a locksmith out?
Shaun, did you believe her?
Well, yes.
Did you?
Well, I mean, you have to believe these sort of things in the police force, don't you?
I'm not in the police force.
No, but...
It was a wind-up, Shaun.
Oh. Well, you never know, do you? I mean, it's...
My faith in the police has gone out the window, Shaun. You've destroyed any faith I ever had.
No, well, I mean,
Yes, of course. You're absolutely right. She should ring her police station immediately.
And there's another thing. You say necessarily instead of necessarily.
I know I do, but I like celery.
Yeah, well, I don't.
you, Shaun, are not in the position to mock anybody after falling for that one.
Well, you never know.
Hey, ta-ra, mate. Hey, I hope he stops me. I'll just deny it.
The new St Anne's swimming pool opens Friday at 6:45 p.m. Be sure not to miss this exciting new experience. With a 25-metre main pool and separate teaching pool, these are without doubt amongst the finest swimming facilities in the region. Add to this the attraction of inflatables, tropical plants, first-floor cafe and sun terrace, and for the competitive swimmer, the 6-lane main pool is ideally suited. Remember, Friday 6:45 p.m. at St Anne's new indoor pool.
Capital Ceilings have got to be your #1 choice in Wigan for quality suspended ceilings. Prices start at just £26 and Capital Ceilings are suitable for the home, office or factory. Contact Capital Ceilings today and find out more. Or call into their showrooms in Caroline Street, Wigan, next to B&Q. Ring Wigan 496 428. Wigan 496 428. Capital Ceilings, your #1 choice in Wigan.
Preston late night shopping every Wednesday. But this Wednesday there's even more shops open. That means more choice, more value, more convenience. Oh, and free parking too at St George's after 4:30.
So come on down, 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 down to St. George's Centre.
Smith's Bookshop now have in stock the Aussie Rugby League video of the 1986 Kangaroo Tour, packed with 2 hours of excitement. And coming shortly, another collector's item, Working in the Wigan Mills. Plus compact disc classics with £1 off, like Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms, Queen's Live Magic, U2's The Joshua Tree, and Phantom of the Opera featuring Michael Crawford. Hurry down to Smith's, Main Street, Wigan today.
Hello, Colin.
Hello, Alan, yeah. It's a query, if you can answer it for me, please. What I do, I take your programme and I take out the naughty bits, shall we say, and play it back to my 2 kids who aren't allowed to stay up this late to listen to your programme. We enjoy it very much, but my brother says that I'm breaking the law. Is this true?
Yes, it is.
Even within a family unit?
Technically, yes.
Well, what's the difference between, say, you playing a tape or a record over the radio to the public at large, or me doing the same with my kids?
The answer is, the difference is that we're allowed to and you're not.
No, that's a way out there.
I know, but we are a broadcast medium. We broadcast. Everything we broadcast, we either pay for the privilege to use, as is the case with music.
Every single thing?
Every single piece of music you hear on this radio station, we have to pay the author for, we have to pay the publisher, we have to pay all sorts of people. Costs us many tens of thousands of pounds a year. Oh, that's the difference. So we pay for the right to do that. And the bits that I'm doing right now, my speech and your conversation, is our copyright. We own the copyright of it. Even though you are creating it, if you like, we own the copyright of it. However, providing you're not broadcasting it in some public way, no one's going to do out about it.
No, it's just my brother. He always was a smart ass. He's one again.
That's what brothers and sisters are for,
Yeah.
to make you look a jerk. All right.
Thanks a
Cheers,
lot.
Colin. Ta-ra. How do, Philip?
Good morning, Alan.
It is, you're right.
Yeah, I'd just like to have your opinion on one part of the emergency service.
Well, go on.
The part I'm on about. Do you think there should be a differential with the wage?
Can we get to the point? I really haven't got all day.
I know, you haven't got all.
Well, tell us what your point is.
Well, my point is, the police get more than the ambulance service, and so do the fire service.
That is true.
And I'm just wanting to know your opinion.
What
I
is
don't
your...
think it's fair.
Fair? There's nothing in the world fair.
Of course it is.
Listen, well, tell me something in the world that's fair.
Something in the world that's fair? Well, it's like...
Well, just tell me something that's fair.
well, waking up in the morning and seeing that your wife's not in bed with anybody else, I think that's fair.
Rather depends on your wife. You might want her to be in bed with somebody else.
Not necessarily.
Well, no, not necessarily, but it doesn't
Can we get
automatically
back to
mean
the
it's fair.
point of
Yes, we
what
can
your
get back to the point. I'll tell you the point, no problem. The police are in considerable danger, and the fire brigade are in inevitable danger, and you're not inevitably in danger.
Well, I think you're quite out of order there.
Huh? When
think you're off there.
when did a ambulanceman last get burnt to death?
When did the last fireman last get knocked down?
I've been knocked down. I'm none of those things.
I know you used to be a nurse, I believe.
What's now to do with it? I got knocked down when I was just ordinary.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
When did the last ambulance fella go to a car while waiting for the fire service and the car went on fire?
Oh, so now we're on about who gets there first.
No, we're not.
Look,
We're still on about the...
We're on about the job. Your job requires a great deal of skill, and I believe you should be extremely well paid for it. However, at the end of the day, the people who pay the money make the decision, and the people who pay the money have an argument that has a lot of validity, and that is that if you're a policeman, you do a lot more than answer emergency calls, as does an ambulanceman. But your job, when you're not answering emergency calls, is very much that of a driver.
No, not necessarily.
Oh, don't give me this not necessarily crap. Not necessarily means yes.
No, does that mean...
Well, tell me, when you're not answering emergency calls, when you're doing your ordinary picking patients up, taking them to the hospital, what are you beyond a driver?
What am I beyond the driver? The same as a doctor, the same as
No,
a fireman?
hold it. Don't play games. You're not clever enough. Here's the question. Here is the question again. Just answer it. When you are not answering emergency calls, you're just picking up patients at their home and taking them to the hospital. What do you do other than drive?
Other than drive? We clean the vehicles, make sure that...
Oh, so now you think car cleaners should be paid as much as firemen?
No, I think you're beating about the bush and you're not coming to the proper answer, really.
Philip, the answer to the question is that you have a job to do that involves driving and involves a very high degree of knowledge about first aid and emergency treatment, and for that you should be adequately rewarded. But that is your job in its worst scenario. You may well be on the motorway in fog dealing with an incident, and you may well get hit by some lunatic in a truck. That is so. But that applies equally to the police and the ambulance. The difference is you are unlikely to be called upon to go into a burning building. You may, on occasions, decide to do that, but it is not in with your role. But it is. Well, no, we'll finish. It is the job of a fireman to do exactly that. That is what his job is. You will very unlikely be required to disarm a terrorist with a machine gun, but that is part of the function of a policeman. Your jobs have distinctive differences. They are all dangerous, just like mine is dangerous. They all have different responsibilities. Of the three, yours is the less risky.
Oh, I would disagree entirely with you.
Well, of course you would, but that's because you've got an axe to grind.
No, I haven't got an axe
person...
to grind.
What, you telling me you're not an ambulanceman?
I've not got an axe to grind at all.
You're not an ambulanceman?
No.
You're not? You're not an ambulanceman?
I just...
Are you an ambulanceman, Philip?
Am I? No, I'm not an ambulance.
You're not an ambulanceman? I am fascinated. I'm also not convinced. But thank you for calling. It filled another minute. As I said, ambulancemen should be well paid for what they do, but they don't actually run the same risks as a policeman or a fireman. Howdy, Mike?
Hello, Alan.
Yes?
Have you got any views on hair coursing?
Yes, I have, thank you.
Could you explain them to me?
I could.
Are you willing to do so?
Not right now, no.
Well, is it alright if I explain my side
Just
of the
say whether you're in favour of it or against it.
Beg your pardon?
Just say whether you're in favour of it or against it.
Well, I'm in favour of it, yeah.
How long are your ears?
Well, better as long as yours.
I rather thought they might be. If they were as long as her hairs, you'd be against it. Thanks for calling. That's it for another night. Don't forget, if you want this programme to come live from your home, drop me a line and tell me why, because we're going to do it live from somebody's house sometime in the not-too-distant future. Drop me a line. It's Allan Beswick, Red Rose Radio, P.O. Box 301 Preston, PR11YE. I'm slinging me hook, but I'm back tonight at 10. Webby's with you 2 till 6. I don't know what you've done to deserve it, but it must have been horrible. Ta-ra!
The 2 o'clock news, this is Therese Birch. Conservative MP Harvey Proctor is expected to be charged today over allegations that he's been involved in spanking sessions with young boys. The MP for Billericay is due to face 4 charges of gross indecency following an investigation by Scotland Yard's Serious Crime Squad. Simon Israel reports.
The 40-year-old bachelor has been on police bail since he was first arrested at his London flat 4 weeks ago. He's always claimed the allegations that he hired teenage boys for spanking sessions are a tissue of lies. Following a 6-month police investigation, the Director of Public Prosecutions has decided there's sufficient evidence against the MP to justify the sex charges. Only 10 days ago, the right-winger survived attempts by rebel Tories in his Essex constituency to oust him as their MP. He won a vote of confidence by a majority of almost 4 to 1.
Work to recover the bodies of the Zeebrugge ferry victims resumes this morning. An estimated 60 bodies were retrieved from the newly righted vessel overnight, but divers are being seriously hampered by conditions on board. From Zeebrugge, Linda Duffin reports.
The first bodies brought ashore have been recovered from the passenger areas. Those top decks are now above water, but Ministry of Defence spokesman David Bland says conditions are still difficult and dangerous.
There will be debris about, fixtures and fittings which have broken loose, and with any ship one has to face confined machinery spaces and that type of difficulty.
The bodies are being taken to a makeshift mortuary at Zeebrugge Naval Base, where a team of pathologists today begins the task of identification. Linda Duffin, IRN, Zeebrugge.
Nurses are telling the government they want as big a pay rise as the teachers, and that this year they want a straightforward deal. Later this week, the Glasgow conference of the Royal College of Nursing will also discuss scrapping their no-strike rule. From the conference, our industrial editor, Mark Mardell.
The nurses accuse the government of cheating them over pay for 2 years running, refusing to give them their rise all at once. The Royal College of Nursing has an anti-strike clause built into its constitution, but this year even that is being questioned. Their Labour Relations Officer, Valerie Cowie, says it shows nurses are in a fighting mood.
I think it does. I think it's a very good indicator of the enormous sense of anger and frustration that our members feel about the way they've been treated by this government.
The Royal College say this year the government has set a precedent and they want as much as the teachers, a rise of over 16%. Mark Mardell, IRN, Glasgow.
Pop star Paul Simon has ignored an anti-apartheid protest at the first of his sellout London concerts. Demonstrators picketed last night's opening show because Simon recorded part of his hit album Gracelands in South Africa, breaking the United Nations cultural boycott. Ben Brown reports.
Isolate apartheid!
Most of the 5,000 Paul Simon fans who packed into the Albert Hall were unmoved by the demonstration, especially those who'd paid touts up to £100 for a ticket. But Alan Brooks of the anti-apartheid movement says Simon has got a lot to answer for.
Paul Simon should recognise that the way to deal with apartheid is by isolating the country, and that means a cultural boycott.
Last night, Simon was handed a letter by several British musicians asking him to apologise for breaking the boycott, but he looks unlikely to do so, and his sell-out British tour will be dogged by more demonstrations.
Independent Radio News.
Red Rose, nighttime radio.
Nightline with Derek Webster.